Who's praying today?
It's 9 a.m. and it's time for everyone. I'm calling the Commissioners Court to order. Please rise. This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Watts for the invocation.
Yes, I have a special guest this morning, Jesse Brown. We're very proud of Jesse and glad you could come and be with us. And he's doing great things for our city, and we're excited to have young men like him involved and with the interest to serve. So, Jesse, if you'll grab one of those microphones there, and I so appreciate you coming even earlier. We had scheduling conflicts, and then you had to even come earlier this morning. So thank you, Jesse, very much.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Could we please bow our heads? Dear Father, we come to you this morning to ask that you bless Wichita County and the city of Wichita Falls. Bless the Commissioners Court with wisdom, Lord, and give them strength. Strength and wisdom to lead our community forward so that we may prosper as one people. Lord, we ask that you watch over the men and women who serve and protect both at home and overseas. Father, we give you thanks. Thank you for allowing us to live in such a wonderful community and respectable nation. Let our nation never forget that we traveled across the Atlantic Ocean in order to praise your glory as free men and women. Father, thank you for all the blessings you have provided for the individuals in this room. We ask all of these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Council. You join us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. Councilor,
Jesse,
you're welcome.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse.
If I could ask the court to take action on the consent agenda.
Judge, if I could,
Yes,
brief
sir.
second, my laptop was having trouble loading, and I made some notes. Finally.
Well, it's starting an hour early. It missed.
It's that Y2K thing. You're out of sync.
While Jeff's booting his laptop up, I would like to ask a question about, number 8, where we're going to approve the city of Wichita Falls to allow one of the trustee properties to be sold for $830. When that goes back on the tax roll, it won't be at $830. It'll be at its appraised value, correct?
Yes.
So that, even though we take less money, we're better off. Now we're not maintaining it?
Exactly.
And okay.
Yeah.
That's what I understood.
And that's what we went through that agreement process with the city to work out. They follow all the steps up to putting it up, and once it goes up and it's not bid on, then they can come back and sell it for a lesser offer.
Right.
And, my feeling, I'm going to quit mowing it, picking up trash off of it, and we're ahead.
Yeah.
I got it, Judge.
right.
I just had some questions, basically,
Okay.
on this agenda. On item number 3, the Texas Facility Commissions, I did not understand that.
That's surplus. That's just what they call that.
They
That's
changed
where we
the
got
name.
that light plant, generator light plant for $1,200.
And they're giving us a floodlight? Is that what they are doing?
You know what I'm talking about when I say
Got the pole with the
pole with 4 lights on it.
generator with the.
Oh, okay.
the light
Okay.
plant, the light
Okay.
tower, whatever it is.
I thought it was for the building itself. Okay.
No, it's a portable
Okay.
generator light tower.
And then clarification on 4, that was unit number 9, 91 model. Item number 6, what was the reason that a pauper's oath is set out within this motion?
I'm just going to have to guess in that the law has changed drastically by judicial decree. And so the person fills out a deal as to why they can't. The district clerk can no longer challenge it without specific information to challenge it. It goes to the judge reviews it, and if the judge signs off on it, then the notice for a lawsuit and all is done that way, and we pay it based on it being a pauper's oath.
But actually, what was it? What was this whole motion encapsulating?
I don't know.
Yeah, what was the transaction?
I
We don't know.
It just says Warren Buff.
But it tells you the case number, but it doesn't tell you what it is.
Who's Warren?
I don't know.
I didn't understand exactly. It just basically was an ad for the
It was a legal
newspaper
notice.
payment.
Yeah, it's the legal notice, someone's being served by citation and so the case has to be posted, and that was it. And they filed a pauper's affidavit, and it was held by the court. And so then we put a court order on it to recognize it, to pay it.
Okay.
And it may not be in the elector area, Judge, isn't that
No,
correct?
no,
That's
it's-
just where we're posting.
That's generally where we do county
Yeah.
notices in the electro newspaper.
Right.
The cost savings is tremendous.
And then on item 7, I noticed that we started seeing some invoice from Mark's Plumbing. Did we change from McCabe and Wilburn?
No, Mark's Plumbing is only a,
Backup.
no, not a backup.
No.
It's a plumbing supply place.
Yeah.
Out of the Metroplex where we get all of our
Oh, gotcha.
specialized parts for the jail.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a parts bill.
Yes.
We have a Marks, no, is that Marcus or Reeves? It's Mark Reeves, but I can't remember which way.
Yeah, but this deal here is just for, those valves and all that stuff that's kind of correctional grade stuff,
Okay.
out at Sprague.
You'll notice number 11, same thing.
Right. Okay. Good deal. I just wanted clarification on those.
Yeah, McCabe and them probably put all this stuff in.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as posted.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the items after clarification. Any other comments or questions, anyone in the audience? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 1, general business, review and approve the emergency and regular bills.
We reviewed the bills on Friday, Judge, quite a lengthy stack, as a matter of fact, and I'd make a motion that we pay our emergency and regular bills.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the emergency and regular bills. Any comments or questions on those?
Comment,
Yes, sir.
we are seeing a lot of indigent care attorney fees coming in. And I don't know if they're wait and bill at the end of the month, or I don't know what they do, but they seem to be really a lot of them here lately.
Commissioner, some of those we looked at Friday were kind of a house cleaning deal
Yeah.
from stuff that had gathered up, but they were large,
They were large.
extremely large.
We asked the Board of Judges, they passed a rule on those. They have a time limit on getting them in, and sometimes they let them stack up, and I think it's something like 60 days that they have to, from the date of, they're going to have that service, but they've got a bill. So they generally will procrastinate and roll the 2 or 3 months together and do that. Anything else? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts, to approve emergency and regular bills for payment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is discuss and review jail maintenance projects and work orders. Lieutenant, we have anything this morning from you?
Nothing outstanding, nothing
I will say that I talked to Matt English, and we've closed all the work orders on the leaks at the annex. I spoke to him to get an update. He said that he just verified what I said last week, that until something comes up, like a big rain, we just won't know if we have anything else. But everything has been addressed and closed out. So
How many different areas did they address after?
I think we had six
think
areas
that's
to
right.
begin with. Last week we had closed 3. We had 3 remaining that were just unknowns. And then we went ahead and closed those 2 because Mike Piper had already gone and done some sort of adjustment on it. So some were deemed as mechanical leaks, which means the wind blows the right direction, it blows the blows the rain into a vent, and it leaks into the building. There's not a whole lot you can do about that.
I had Texoma Heat and Air put a filter on those vents that would catch the rain, and hopefully it would
Yeah,
drain out over the roof instead of just blowing in. So maybe,
that'll help, but I mean, there's
yeah,
Mother Nature is Mother Nature. It's going to find a way.
right.
But that's why every time we have a rain, we will assess each one individually, determine if it's a mechanical leak or if it's an actual structural leak. So
Can't wait till we have a pouring down rain and we don't have any leaks. Can't wait. We've invested in that.
Judge, not directly tied to jail maintenance, but we had a failure of a blower motor and pump on air conditioning unit on Friday afternoon, of all things. And Robbie O and the crew, along with the help from our air conditioner people, found one, got it back on, and got it back up and running. And with warmer weather this week, that was going to create some problems in the jail because with that blower motor, I mean, if you lose a chiller,
Yeah.
sometimes you can circulate air and operate. Use the blower motor, you can't do it. So good work on their part, supposedly back up and running, but boy, these old buildings and old systems are continuing to take their toll on our budget. It is, I'd be scared to see what the total's gonna be well, we will know what the total for 16 was here pretty soon. It is really a big budget to keep all that stuff patched and running.
When you talk about that stuff, we had that grant we applied for. I
Right.
understand we didn't make that. Has anybody followed up with that company to find out how we missed on that, or was it just
We desperately need that, guys, to get this thing upgraded because
Well,
it's just a hole in the boat.
Mark is
It's,
the consulting people.
The other consultant that the city of Wichita Falls used, I visited with them, and they're interested in writing this proposal as well. I think they already have at one point, so they already have some background on all the buildings.
okay? That sure might be worth engaging
They
in,
did
sure
a very
would.
good job for the city, so.
okay? Because we desperately need that, and that's the way to do it. If we can do that, and the savings pays the cost of doing it.
Well,
It's-
Judge, where's our other group? Did they just fall off?
Well, we kept getting bills from them, and I haven't seen a letter and the rejection yet, but that's what I understood, that the reason they're...
Nancy and I talked about it last week about contacting them, and I never did, so I'd like to see what his excuse is.
Okay, yeah,
Now, that's crazy.
yeah.
I can make a call to Amoresco, and they're chomping at the bit to come up here.
Well, let's
Yeah,
let's
I just
clean-
don't want to have
okay,
two
yes,
at
sir.
the
One
same
house.
time
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
the hook, so.
Yeah,
but if it's been, if the request was denied, then I would assume
Sure.
that would terminate that deal, would it not, Judge?
well, I would
Until
think
this
so.
period,
Yeah.
we can still apply for the next window.
Well,
Right.
we do need to pursue that because this deal's not gonna get any better. You know, Lee, it's just it is a large sucking
Every time I
sound.
put another battery on my pickup, I get another 100,000 miles out of it.
Yeah, right. The only thing is, here the batteries are a little more expensive, that's the problem. It's not a good scenario.
Let's move on to item number 3, is discuss, consider, take action to approve a quote from ICS Jail Supplies Incorporated in the amount of $10,200 for 300 mattresses for the jail to be paid by transfer from Department 561 Supplies and Operations budget available to a line determined by the county auditor. Sheriff? Or-
Captain?
Yeah, Jill Cap just walked in just in time to
Yeah,
discuss that. It's one, it's about the
Mattresses.
jail mattress. It's pretty explanatory.
Order 'em every year.
Yeah, we have to order them every year, we have to have them, they won't last them.
Are these Sleep Number mattresses?
Not really, but we'll give a couple samples out if y'all wanna try them out for the weekend.
You can even stay in the jail.
Exactly right.
Here's some
Where do our old mattresses go?
Trash.
When they get worn out,
We haul them to the landfill, or?
Usually just go in the box or something.
they
Oh, the
throw it in
dumpster.
Yeah, by the time we get rid of them, they're already coming apart. You know, you just don't wanna give them to anybody else. Landfill's the best place for them. You know,
This-
if they were to be able to hold up better the outside, you could donate it to like a mission or somebody like that, but you don't want some of the things that get in there.
Could we use them, as insulation for the evidence room?
There's usually nothing left in them.
This is a budgeted item, isn't it, Sheriff?
It is budgeted.
Yeah, I'd make a motion, we approve that.
Oh,
Does maintenance have a flatbed where we can do that, such a thing? I mean,
No.
I would assume 3 or 4 or 5 mattresses fill up a dumpster.
No, they ain't but
These
about
are-
half an inch thick.
They're like 30 inches wide and 72 inches long.
They're more like mats, really,
Yeah,
aren't they?
It's a
Oh.
sleeping
Yeah.
mat, and
So
by the time
they're
we
not
throw 'em away,
bulky,
they're about-
really?
They're about this thick.
Okay, I was
It's not like a
envisioning,
mattress you buy at
I was
Ashley's.
yeah,
Well, when you consider
twin
they're
mattress.
$34 a piece,
okay.
Well, they'll roll up, won't they?
they're pretty
Well,
tight.
Yeah, I mean,
they
they're
fold.
mats, they fold, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the establishment of a project number for the remodeling of the Juvenile Probation Department's facility at 401 Burke Road, with costs to be paid from the department's 610.615 and 630.630 budgets. Kirk and I had kind of worked on this a while, and y'all have been out to the JJAEP. Unfortunately, business, like our jail, is better than we want it to be in a number of students, and they've just run out of classroom space, and they're doing some special programs. They have a session of guitar lessons with the kids that stay, and right now, all they have for that is a closet for them to be in, and that's probably not a great place, but what he wants to look at is it possible to come back, remodel, rearrange, and do that. We had hoped that when Work Services bought the other building and moved, they'd be moving out of that big building on Armory Road, but that's not the case. They're actually expanding the wood operation there and need more space within that building, and it's just not compatible for the two of us to try to be in there. So, and I don't know of any other building for them to look at moving to, that would accommodate them.
Judge, are you on item number 5?
Yeah, we
Yes.
skipped 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote that down the wrong place. and
But
skipped
carry on,
excuse me.
Judge, we're into it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no.
Okay,
I just had
thanks,
some
yeah.
questions.
Okay.
The school district leases this from us, or we provide this facility under state law that we have to provide a JJAEP?
We have to provide it by state law because we're over 125,000 population.
Okay, and this remodeling project that the school district, I guess, is requesting
No, school district isn't. Kirk Wolf is requesting it.
for JJAEP?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is this something that we discussed during the budget process?
No, sir.
No.
But they have funds that the money we receive for the daily average attendance has gone into a fund. And
Okay, so
there-
this is something that he would pay for out of funds that he totally has?
that's my plan. Now, I don't know what the cost is going to be yet, but there's several $100,000 there to do that.
Okay. Well, I'd have no problem with getting a project number, but we have about 900 fires burning, and throwing another one on it at this time is, I don't think, practical. But secondly, I sure wouldn't mind us to discuss it or openly see what that cost could be. But if this is coming out of our pocket at this period of time, I'm not
No.
in favor.
I mean, I know Kirk would like to see it do that, but that's not where I see it coming from. That money's not there.
Has anybody had conversations over this? I mean, this is the first I've heard of it.
Me too.
Well, okay, I've talked to him about it, we've talked about that. The way to do this is to get somebody, to look at it, to see and determine whether there's a feasible way to redo that building. Okay, I don't know
So
where
we
else
haven't
you would
done any
start.
bids or anything yet?
No, no,
No,
this
this
is,
is just a
this is
feasibility
the first
deal.
step, is to
Okay.
get the project, that's our procedure, so it's just following that.
We have invested some money in that facility in the last year, upgrading the HVAC, or at least getting it
Did some roof work.
repaired, done some roof work.
Lowered their water bill?
Yeah, lowered the water mill. Trimmed up some trees that were creating some problems around the facility, so we've made some strides, but nothing inside to bring about a better flow of using.
Okay, someone ready to make a motion to?
So then let's talk about where we go. Then we'll go for bids, or? I mean,
No,
is
no,
that-
we want the architects to look at it.
Yeah.
Determine whether
Okay.
there's a feasible way to redo that building and stay in that building.
Right,
That's the first thing to be determined, and so they will work with Kirk and his staff, and they will look at that and talk about what they can do to redo that. And then I think they would come back to the court and to the juvenile board to present that plan and see if there's then a way to fund it.
okay. I'd make a motion that we establish the project number.
I'll second that motion, and on that, Judge, I'd like to know, have we determined what Work Services' ability are to stay in the facility and then acquire additional facility? And can they sublet without our approval?
They're not subletting. It's still their operation.
I know,
And I don't know. No, I haven't gotten, I sent that to the DA's office a long time ago and told them not to do anything until we saw what Work Services was going to do. Right now, it's still all Work Services operation. They have allowed United Way to use the building they bought that was out there from the city, that was the old community center there, and they're letting, it sits on county land, but there was a community development block grant that built that as a South Side Community Center. Then that kind of faded away, and the city didn't have a real need for it, but Work Services wanted it, and so they worked out a modification to their lease. The city and the school has actually had something to do, because the school had used it for an educational facility at one time, moved out of it, and so they let United Way use that. They're not leasing it to them. United Way is just using it. Work Services paying the utilities, all of the upkeep. And United Way employs some handicapped people in that program there so that.
now, is this on the
It's
YMCA?
right behind, no.
Right behind.
It's right behind the Boys and Girls Club. Directly behind that building is.
Oh.
Then you have the little red brick building, which has been called the schoolhouse. Nobody knows exactly what was what, but those buildings are there. But Work Services did buy the blue-gray building from the city of Wichita Falls, paid them $70-something thousand for it. Okay. Then they built those metal buildings that started out as the individual development center, then changed to Work Services. That's where all the paper clips were made. Then they expanded into the wood deal to make stakes and barricades and a number of different products that they then sold. And they even were doing a project for a while. They were making the seats for the Humvees there for replacements in military vehicles.
But have they moved all the manufacturing operations
No,
to the
they've moved the paperclip
humongous
line
building?
and the laundry system over to the other building. They want to keep the wood shop where they are, and they've gotten some new contracts to provide more wood cut products. And so they're using more of that building, but they've set it up to where it's got the ventilation system and all to handle, evacuate the sawdust and that kind of thing.
Well, Judge, last time I was in that, what I call the community building, which was, I think that's what it was originally built for, looked like it was just being used for storage. Is there somebody actively in there?
Well, United Way's actively in there now.
Okay.
They had moved the laundry folding deal. They have a contract with the state hospital, and I can't remember who else, but they fold all of their laundry that comes back in from being washed, and then they do the folding operation for it. But they have moved that out to Hatton Road. So they're still using it, but that lease is not well-written.
And
Okay.
what is the timeline on?
There
it?
is no timeline.
Oh, there's no
It's
time.
in perpetuity.
Okay,
We really have no investment in that other than owning the property, though, isn't that
That's-
correct?
Yeah. That's kind of like the National Guard Armory. And then when they were talking about closing that unit, they were talking about putting it up for sale, and I called the Armory Board at the time, said, be sure you get a good price that we like, because we own it when you leave it.
Send the check.
Yeah, yeah. So, at any rate, that's where we are.
Obviously Meredith wasn't on board when that lease was written, is
No,
that what you're saying?
no, definitely not. Same as with Bonham School.
Yeah.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Muller, a second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item
number 4.
Number 4 is to discuss, consider, take action to approve the establishment of a project number and beginning of construction of an evidence room located at the Sprague Annex with cost to be paid by transfer from the Permanent Improvement Fund to the appropriate lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Harvey?
We got about 1, 2, 3, 5 different entities that have come together to look at this project. Concrete, overhead door, insulation, electrical, our jail staff, our inmates. We're going to be our own general contractor on this. Nobody would be anywhere near $50,000. So we just need to establish a project number, and we got multiple bids on each phase of the project. So we're ready to start our concrete work. We just need to get us a project number.
I did talk to Jim Allison over the weekend on some other stuff, but I asked him about that, and he said we could do it that way. He said the good thing would be if you did take at least quotes, you could show you took multiple, and you weren't doing this with the idea of circumventing the bid law if it,
No.
crossed over. And he also kept mentioning the word, and it's interesting, there are no contracts being signed in this, on these, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just small little, this company does this little $6,000 deal. And one of the things that really kind of excited me was we were looking at about $20,000 with air conditioning to get the humidity and everything. And Garland Prince from our sheriff's office got on the 1033 program. He's got one 5-ton package unit already. He's looking for another one. So we're just going to have to pay for some duct work and some labor. So that part of the project's probably going to go to about $5,000. He's pretty sharp on that stuff, Sheriff. Good job, good kudos to Garland for
Yes,
that.
he is a great asset to take care of.
He also got in there with the inmates and demoed out a bunch of existing piping and done a lot of cleanup stuff that just would have cost us fire out of us to have done. That they mitigated that already. It's already in the dumpster.
Lee, is the plan to have all the evidence in that one location?
I believe that is correct, sir.
That's DA and,
No.
Not the district.
Only the sheriff's evidence, right?
Right. It's the same portion of the annex building that in the expansion plan we looked at a couple of years ago to design. That same portion of that building is going to be utilized for the same thing.
We talked about being able to put cars in there, and actually went and toured it one day. I remember
Yeah.
that some time ago.
Yeah, we're not gonna put the bay doors on the south side that like originally planned. It's gonna expand the size of the drive-in to the overhead door where you can get vehicles in there to unload or to preserve as evidence as well.
And the reason I ask that is because I think the DA is going through some challenges too. We've got stuff spread out.
We have 9 or 11?
11 now.
11 different closets, secured facilities for our evidence. But we're going to consolidate and organize and purge. We need to do some purging also.
Well, we'll be able to use then our ID system that we didn't we buy one a
Yes.
couple of years ago?
They've already started implementing that. So
Barcode deal.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time to get everything taken care of, make sure it all lines up with the system.
I make a motion that we establish that project number.
Second.
Oh, dang, I scratched out Muller and Watson's back. Sheriff, let me ask you a
You on the
question.
wrong line.
Yeah, well, no, I'd written it down. Yeah. Okay, Sheriff, one question on this. Now, if we do this and we look at the jail plans, which we're going to go over today and maybe reach a decision on, where does that designation of that figure into anything we've looked at?
That should remain exactly what it is.
Okay, and will you keep it, let's say we build a new jail out there, and in that area, when we talked about your alls, we had put an evidence storage room in there within that area also. We'd probably have 2 evidence storage rooms then.
If there's one in the jail area, it would, I can only assume it'd be for any type of jail cases or jail crimes. However, it should all go to the big main evidence room that we're investigating right now. That part of the building is not part of like where Verne College is. It's
Right.
It's away from everything, so that's
Yeah,
something we can.
I've been in it. I mean,
Right.
but I'm just saying, I still think when we look at it, there ought to be a consideration because the evidence room was within the law enforcement center area.
Right.
And, you know, every time you build a storage room, I don't care whether you call it evidence room, whatever, it's never as big
It could need to be.
as it's going to need to be. So I'm saying as long as we're going to keep that one in use, I think when we look at the new stuff, we need to,
But even on the new thing, if the LEC is built in the same area, patrol guys still have to take the evidence and put them in the lockers like we do downstairs. And then the evidence custodians will pick it up, take it, log it, transfer it, and they put it into the main, well, at this point, one of the multiple, whichever room they can stick it in. That way they'll transfer it to that one room that's under construction. And that's where it's permanently kept until it's purged or told to keep forever. You know, in some cases you have to keep evidence forever. And the good thing about this room here, as we discussed in previous planning the last couple of years ago, our coolers, everything we need to keep everything from DNA to dry, all the evidence, it's wet type of contaminated evidence to be dried and contained. It's a perfect place for it to do it because it's hard, very hard part of the building. So it'll be something we need for several years now, for sure.
was it covered in the roof project?
Was it Vernon College?
I believe it. I believe it was.
It was.
It had been because it's all.
It's all in that same
same area.
roof. Okay, I was trying to remember, I was picturing that, and I was almost thinking there was a separation. But
It is attached.
Yeah,
But
it's
okay.
the door's been bricked up. There used to be a access through there.
Years ago.
Somebody's bricked it up.
Okay.
That's the good thing about it. It's they'll have one access point with more security cameras, and only certain people can access it. So it'll be a lot better secured than what we have now.
Yes, sir.
We have some security right now, but it's just because some people don't have a clue what they're walking by or those kind of things.
What's going to happen with those rooms?
I guess janitorial will take them back over some of the places.
Put their mops and brooms back in
Yeah,
them.
they put some things in it. Whoever needs it can have them at that point. But yeah,
Well, that's just one of the things Commissioner Muller and I were talking about, is getting this kind of standardized. That if somebody comes to maintenance and says, would you unlock that door? They need to say, no, we don't do that until I talk to Commissioner Muller about that, because we have, oddly enough, people just,
yeah.
as soon as that area becomes vacant, somebody else takes it. It was,
And some of what we have now will probably just be an office for one or two people. It's just how things have had to progress over the years.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
there's
he's-
one room down there that would probably convert to an office, just off the top of my mind. I can't visualize all of them, but
Lieutenant Prenlino's office is, if you walk in the door too fast, you'll have to hit him with the door because it's where it's situated right now. And it's not going into discussion of what's stored in those areas. But some people be amazed what's in there.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Muller, a second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 6 is to discuss, consider, take action to authorize IT Department to renew Barracuda Backup Server 890 Energizer updates at a cost of $3,271.81 and an instant replacement for 1 year at a cost of $399 for Parity Consulting to be paid by a transfer from 10412.3151 computer software to line determined by the county auditor. I
I
don't see,
assume that's a budgeted item.
It is.
Judge, I'll make the motion, we approve that.
Second.
It's in that bundle that George
this
brings
is
us
all
each.
part of that upgrade to give us better security and to allow more of it in kind of what I'm migrating my computer to, and Commissioner Watts has already migrated his and Meredith. All right. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 7 is discuss, consider, take action to refurbish the EMO parking lot at 110 Jefferson with a cost to be paid by transfer from the Permanent Improvement Fund to the appropriate lines as determined by the county auditor. Mr. Burgoyne's here on this.
Yourself and Commissioner Beechey came by my office last week, looked at the parking lot, and I believe y'all are in agreement that something needs to be done with it, either ripped out and put in a base and repaired somehow or another, or patched up somehow. It's been a long time coming, and maybe get something done with that.
I think it adds character to the building.
There are enough characters in that building already.
The grass used to be a couple feet away from the fence, the first one over there, it's probably 10 or 15 feet wide now from the fence. The asphalt underneath, it's all laid up.
We did an estimate on the cost of this, it's gonna be about $5,300. We could add that in at the end of the chip seal program this summer. And
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of foremen, they said they don't think it'd be that much of a problem if we can't get a rock box in there. The great thing is you can load the rock box, unhook the truck, and go make a pass,
Right.
then reload it, which would make it fit better than trying to have the
Oh,
truck
yeah.
strung out. So they can do that. I think that's the obvious way to do it. We've got the equipment and the manpower to handle it. Do it while we got a little oil left on a load.
Do it like in Vernon's parking lot turned out real well, but, late last year, y'all did that
Yeah.
once.
You probably need to get the grass edge back when and you really can't do that if it greens up.
But
You can kill it back.
kill
Can
it
our weed guy kill that back, at a pertinent time?
Bet he could.
Or we could
So
too.
we can do it. It's just a matter of edging it
We got a
back.
little pump-up sprayer.
Okay.
Judge, I'd make a motion, we accept that proposal as stated by Commissioner Beecham.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion. How much do you want to set a limit on that, or do we accept that project and
What do
then?
you think, Judge?
1,500.
Huh?
1,500?
No,
1,500?
I'd say
We'll make sure precinct 2 does it.
$5,500. Mark worked up a budget, and he can probably fit it inside 5,500.
Yeah.
I bet so. I would,
53 was with the contingency.
I
Yeah.
just want to make a point that this is another pertinent example of this, Lee, needed to be in the budget that we talked about
Well,
instead of a random.
Okay, in his
25.
defense, he submitted this several different times to the court.
Well, I mean, we
Yeah.
meet, Judge, and
Yeah.
we met for 3 months, and I'm yet to hear this project come across as just a caveat to what.
it's sure better, it's sure better if you put it as part of the budget, but
Yeah.
I would alter my budget to reflect that number, Judge.
I
You would alter your budget to
No,
reflect that
the
number?
motion to reflect the number.
Up to $5,500.
We didn't put a cap on it when I
Oh,
made
yeah.
the motion.
Yeah.
So if Mark goes over, we're gonna take it out of his budget?
No, yours.
No, that's Mark.
Okay,
It's in his
all in
backyard.
favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Before
Item
this
8, discuss,
deteriorates.
consider, take action on options for meeting present and future jail. We're going to wait on that one until this afternoon when we receive the briefing from Harper Perkins and HOK. Item 9 is to discuss, consider, take action to hire a commissioner's secretary through a temporary agency to be paid $10 per hour plus temporary agency staffing fee of $4 per hour for a total salary of $14 per hour, and to approve up to 2 days overlap in 225.250.1295 temporary for training. Ms. Gregory, you have done the work on that, I believe.
I would like to keep Wanda, the operator now, out there for Thursday and Friday while we train Yvonne later this week.
Do we have a job
Oh,
description?
Is that
yeah,
what this is for?
I'm on board now, I understand, yeah.
Okay.
I so moved,
Do we have a job description?
Yes, sir.
yes.
No.
Well, not for Wanda,
No.
but
No.
for
For
the
the new one.
new.
Well, my question was, now, where are we? At one time, we had Ann as a precinct 5 employee. Is that no longer where we are?
No, in the new budget, she moved over to be
Okay, I thought that was right.
PBX, and we put all the money in the precinct 1 constable's budget.
Okay, all right.
And
So that
he-
doesn't double us up.
He got a little concerned the other day. We're still using Ann here, and I reminded him of that, but I told him I would coordinate with her when we needed Ann for this till we got someone else trained.
Okay.
But,
So this would wind up being the precinct 5 position, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand now.
And then, since we've talked about Nancy being the supervisor, we may want to move that next year's budget,
Yeah.
put that all under.
I would like to see the job description, though.
Okay. Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second that.
Thank you. Okay, motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as stated. Any other comment? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 10, discuss, consider, take action to buy board quote from Rockdale Country Ford, DBA Caldwell Country, in the amount of $26,386 for 2017 Ford Explorer PPV K8A for Constable Number 1 to be paid from 2016 limited tax note proceeds. Commissioner Beecham, you were monitoring this.
Yeah, I did look into that further, talked to both Russell Hill at Pruitt and Charlie Goen at Carl Clement to get some better idea on best practices with these vehicles. From both of their suggestions, they suggested that the Explorer would be the better vehicle per usage. And sitting down and visiting with Constable Brewer, that would probably be the best usage. Looking at the cost per ownership per mile, they're very similar. The big savings would be in the fuel on the Fusion, we would save, but the life expectancy of the Fusion versus the Explorer, we're looking at a 100,000 mile vehicle versus a 170,000+ mile vehicle. So we could have some savings on fuel, but in the long term, I think we'd be better off going with the Explorer.
Okay, well, the city seems to have had good luck with them. And, so.
Yeah, they're using them as undercover vehicles and not in a more of a patrol.
No, I was talking about the Explorers.
Yeah, oh yeah, the Explorer, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There were
They
some
have
questions about them at first, but generally
Right.
speaking, but, you know. All right, is there a second to that motion?
What's our additional expense on that, Judge, to equip it? Do we have any?
About $3,000, isn't it, Mark, for lights?
Yeah, about 3. And we will use we still have some lights, the ones off of the truck.
So you can convert some of that?
Whatever they can use of that, we will use.
Not gonna do any lettering or,
No.
okay. I'll second that, or did you already have a second?
No.
And on that note, Mark, could I get you to, or could we get you and Mark to work together to see what, any leftover vehicles that he goes, he may have within the department that we could go ahead and move towards auction? Daryl helps us with that show
Okay.
in the sheriff's department, and they can post them online or fit them into an auction there, and that, keeping that old stuff just ends up costing us money.
Right.
Just,
Absolutely no problem.
just for further discussion, Judge, and I don't know if we've done this lately or not, how far apart are the buy board bids from local bids? Do you know, Mark? Did you? I'm just curious.
I did.
Yeah.
I called, Barry, I called Pruitt and got them to shop the Focus and Fusion. And I sent Mark that deal, and there was a great difference.
I was curious, because I know at one time we had checked that, but that's
I was
something we really
shocked
ought
that-
to.
Yeah,
There
buy
was a
board's
gap.
considerable gap.
The buy board's more expensive or less?
No, it's less. It's got to be less,
Yeah,
or
it's
we
way
wouldn't do
less.
it. I just always like to stay on top of that, because we like to buy local, and I understand that
I'm with you.
the buy board's already bid, but we need to make sure that there's a significant difference when we do one of these things to make sure we're doing the best.
5%, we can buy local.
Yeah. And we just need to look at them,
That it?
because
I think so.
okay, very good.
I think that's been changed now. It has to be an out-of-state bidder.
I'll have to look up.
I'm
on
not
that.
positive of that, but I.
The word local has gotten bigger. We've expanded our horizons.
Okay, I'd like to add to that, plus the cost of the installation, and transfer of the law enforcement equipment on the vehicle, be included in that.
Is that three?
3,000.
Well, I don't know what that's going to be, but is there any new equipment, Constable, that's going to have to be purchased?
There may be, I don't know what, some of these interior lines are designed for just certain vehicles.
Some of it
But
fits and some of it doesn't.
Like the grill light's gonna work on any grill.
Yeah,
I mean, just whatever we'll
Okay.
But we can put on, we're gonna put it all on there.
okay. If you got to get anything new, then that needs to come back to the court then, since we don't know what that's going to be.
Right, okay.
Okay.
It'd be easy just to appropriate another 2,000 to equip with, up to $2,000 for a light siren,
But-
transfer. We have a camera system that'll go in that car.
Okay, what do you think? I mean, is 1,000 or is 2,000 a better swag than 1,000, or, you know?
I'm thinking 2,000, I don't think we can, 1,000 may not be enough.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have to come back after we've got the car halfway put together.
Well, your installation costs are gonna be,
Yes.
Well, no, we didn't, we said plus those costs. Now I'm just talking about what will you have
Oh,
to
in
buy
addition, in
installed.
addition.
Yeah.
$1,000 to cover it, Judge.
Okay,
The actual new parts. I see what you're saying. I'm with you.
so you just bump that to 4,000 for,
well, no, up to 20, now it'd be 26 for that plus installation of and transfer of law enforcement equipment with an additional 1,000 for new equipment. Okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, a second by Commissioner Muller with modification to the item that was stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 11 is discuss, consider, or take action to accept the TUSA proposal for radio consulting service at a cost of up to $50,000 with payment from proceeds received from 2016 limited tax note for 2017 expenditures from the budget lines as assigned by the county auditor. Did he send us a revised proposal?
Yes, he
but you had one, Jeff.
It was 32,000, Judge,
For everything.
for everything. That's looking across the board. Lee, that was the proposal you forwarded.
Right. I saw it on my phone, 'cause I was trying to keep abreast of these emails a drum all weekend. And, I didn't open it, I just forwarded it, so people who had time could read it.
Okay. Are you all ready to take action on that? Does that include travel, everything?
That includes everything.
Everything, okay.
You know, Judge, you hate to spend that kind of money on a consulting fee, but this is not a $100,000 project that we're looking at. This is a pretty serious deal. I just think we've got to have some information because we're just not
Yeah.
not there.
I
Well-
think this is money well spent.
Yeah,
Giving
and I
us
think
a
one of
better idea.
I don't know if y'all are seeing it, but something was said the other day, and I can't remember who said it, but should we look at putting this out as a request for proposals? Because there are some other vendors out there that provide this equipment. And
You mean in
Yeah.
conjunction with this, Judge? or-
not this, but when he does all this and he says, okay, here's the problems, we might want to make this, then you go out and you solicit bids from Motorola, Johnson, he named a couple of others.
An RFP on the final project.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I agree with that.
But that would be a separate action
That'd be a
after we
separate
got
action.
his report.
But he's going to build what we would then use for the specs for that RFP.
Right. So,
Within the confines of this $35,000.
yeah. So are you suggesting we add that language to this?
Well, okay,
I'm just saying.
when he evaluates this, I think we're going to come up with enough things to say, what do we need in that? Now, it might take a little more to have him go ahead and develop the RFP for us if we want him to do that, but a lot of the groundwork, I believe, unless I totally misunderstand this, will be laid in that to give us the deal. Have we heard anything back from Motorola? Are they going to work with, to get TUSA to release agreement?
I haven't heard back from them.
Okay,
A couple phone calls and email or two asking for that.
all right.
Haven't heard back.
You mean for him to be able to look
Look
at what
at
they
the-
put together?
Yeah.
Can we add that into the motion for a contingency to add a language for RFP if the findings are such that we want to go that direction?
We're going to need to get a proposal from him. I
And
think,
come to separate
yeah,
action?
but as we talk with him, we can say, you know, but we didn't cover enough, but he's one brought that out, that we might want to consider that.
I think it's prudent.
I do
Yeah.
too. Thing of it is, Judge, it might change that number
Yeah.
if you added that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was asking, if we could add that in as a
We can certainly
contingency
add that in
top.
there.
Judge, let me clarify on that agreement. In his summary paragraph here, it says, in summary, the total cost for the combined phase 1 through 3, which is our existing noise troubles where they come from, and just set that out. The Motorola proposal and how it sets into us. And 3, the Wichita Falls County proposal, in summarizing that. And set all 3 of those of consulting services exclusive of travel expenses.
Yeah.
Is $33,750. As compared to the original piece, Wise set of consulting services valued at $42,600. TUSA would not be supplying test equipment or services to recreate VHF noise floor measurements at tower sites, work that has previously been undertaken by the county. Yet if the county desires TUSA personnel to review and monitor the work of the county's technical staff or outside service providers, as they would conduct any additional noise floor testing as part of the scheduled site inspection activities, we would provide the necessary test procedures from which to conduct such tests, and would agree to review and comment on collected measurement results, if any. That was it. That's in summation.
Is this going to be a problem since we're already in contract with Motorola?
No, because our contract said we have a year
Okay.
exercise that.
Just curious.
And we have it out, we just said, we don't want blue radios.
Right.
But this gives us the best chance to look at the total world and be able to answer this when we're talking about a $4 million project.
Well, I'd make that motion.
What about Commissioner Beecham's idea? Do you want to, or we'd engage that separate after we see how this goes on, and looking for the RFP development?
Yeah, I mean, I sure want that option to do that, but I don't know if we need to specify that in this motion or not. What do y'all think?
Well,
Do it now
We
or do
sure,
it later.
yeah, I know, we want that option.
we
for
might
sure.
want to see how this work goes,
Right, good point. It's a good point.
No. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
No, thank you, sir. Okay. We have a motion to accept the item as stated. Bid is shown at $33,750 plus travel. The only thing I'm going to do on the travel thing is, I told him the other day, they'll travel at county policy.
Okay, right. Yeah, there's no way he can forecast what that's
Yeah.
gonna be, Judge. So I was thinking that probably wasn't in there.
Hey, and we're crazy if we don't
Maybe
Do-
the bus ticket.
No, if we don't do what you suggested the other day and let the guys take advantage of and we all cook, because he's coming out of good country to do that at the right time of the year.
Are you gonna try to put shrimp in on the motion?
I was going to say, how many pounds of shrimp and crawfish was that?
He sure knew what we were talking about, though, didn't he? We didn't shock him.
Well,
That's for
he's
sure.
convinced that he can cook it after talking about the annual crawfish.
That would be fun.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. All righty. We are going to now receive a demonstration or discussions with Ken Trethway of Hart InterCivic on the transition of the current voting equipment we have to Verity Touch System. Ken, glad to have you back with us.
Judge, could we take a 2-minute?
Yeah, 2-minute break. Yes, sir. Sorry. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sheriff. It's 9:58, and we will break to 10:15. Please be back.
Did I hear you correctly?